The Quran is proven by its mathematical miracle that it is authored by God. So every statement in it is a proven fact, and every prophecy in it is an inevitable event. One such event is the smoke. It is prophesied in Surah 44, titled The Smoke, and more specifically in verse 10 of the same surah, where it says, "Watch for the day when the sky brings a clear smoke." This means that the believers will know when the smoke will come, because they will be watching for it. The smoke will come in the year 2052. Let me give you the two most important pieces of evidence for this. One, the 7HM initials, or the 7 pairs, and 2, the 7 sleepers of the cave. Okay, let's start with the 7HM initials. The HM initial is found in the surah titled The Smoke, in the first verse, and this pair of initials is found exactly 7 times in the whole Quran. It is found in Surah 40, in Surah 41, in Surah 42, Surah 43, 44, 45, and 46. 7 times. It's the only verse in the Quran which is repeated exactly 7 times. So this is the 7 pairs which is mentioned in the Quran in Surah 15. As I showed in another video where I explained the Quranic initials, these initials represent the time between the time when I was given these initials and the time of the event. So they represent the period of time between 2 events. The HM initials have the numerical value of 48. This means that there will be 48 years between the time when I was given these initials and the time when the smoke will come, which means that from the year 1425 there will be 48 years before the smoke comes, which means that the year will be 1474. And in the Gregorian calendar, this is the year 2052. God allowed me to discover this future event 44 years before it comes. And it's not a coincidence that the surah titled The Smoke is surah number 44, which brings me to the next piece of evidence, the 7 sleepers of the cave. The story of the 7 sleepers of the cave is mentioned in Surah 18 in the Quran, and it is connected with future events. Let me read the important verses for you. Why else do you think we are telling you about the people of the cave and the digits connected with them? They are among our wondrous signs. Then we resurrected them to see which of the 2 parties could count the duration of their stay therein. Some would say they were 3, and their dog being the 4th, while others would say 5, and the 6th being their dog, as they guessed. Others said 7, and the 8th was their dog. Say, my Lord is the best knower of their number. Only a few knew the correct number. Therefore, do not argue with them, just go along with them. You need not consult anyone about this. They stayed in their cave 300 years, and they added 9. We caused them to be discovered to let everyone know that God's promise, in this case the smoke, is true. So as you can see, the digits connected with the people of the cave are the digit 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And if we add these digits, they give us a total of 44, which means that there are 44 years between the time when I discovered this and the time of the smoke. And again, the Surah 44 is titled The Smoke, and this gives us the year when the smoke will come, which is 1474, or in Gregorian calendar 2052. The nature of the smoke, whatever it is, it's going to be a clear smoke. I did not have any visions of it or dreams or premonitions about it. I do not even know the future. God knows the future, and He has decided to reveal specific aspects of it in the Quran. So all I know about it is directly extracted from the Quran. And I do not need to define the nature of the smoke, because when it comes, the Quran tells us that the people will agree that it did come. They will say, our Lord relieve this retribution from us, we are now believers. Obviously, later on they will find an excuse to reject it, but initially when it comes, they will agree that it did come, which means I do not need to define whether it's going to be like this or like that, it's going to look like how it's going to look. There's no need for it. People will agree that it did come. However, I can make an educated guess of what the nature of the smoke will be. The word smoke, duhan, is mentioned twice in the Quran. Once, obviously, it's mentioned when the smoke is predicted, and another time it's mentioned in Surah 41, where it is mentioned as a primordial gas which existed towards the beginning of the universe. This primordial gas, we now know from science that it is a plasma or plasma gas, which is simply a state of matter where the atoms are not fully structured, where the electrons and the protons flow freely without being attached to one another. The smoke, this means that the smoke is going to be a plasma state. Examples of plasma states today are geomagnetic storms or solar winds or auroras or the tails of comets or the events in the ionosphere, the upper atmosphere. So this means that the smoke will be an event which will happen in the upper atmosphere. I would guess that such an event would cause problems here on Earth with phones, electricity, internet and things connected with them. Anyway, one thing is for sure, the smoke will come from the sky and the disbelievers will be damaged more than the believers. Each community of the past which vanished had their own preferred sin. For example, Sodom and Gomorrah preferred homosexuality. Midian preferred to cheat while trading. Pharaoh preferred to enslave the people. And the people today have a preferred sin of theirs. And their preferred sin is immodesty and staring at the opposite gender. So the smoke is an event which will be tailored specifically for this type of people, because this type of sin, it's not a sin which is punishable by death like the people before, but it's a sin which deserves mild punishment. This means that the smoke is simply going to be a mild punishment. It's more like a warning rather than a real true punishment where the people die. In addition, this type of retribution is a retribution which can be seen from all corners of the earth, because it's going to be in the sky, which means that all the people would have deserved it. People from different parts of the world have said to me, "We do not believe you because you have not proven the year of the smoke to us." Well, I do not prove the smoke. The smoke proves me.